Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Justin, and if you're new here, I make videos every week where I go through my budgeting process. I utilize a software called YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. That's what we're looking at. And in this video, as you can see, we have a little bit of supplemental income that we need to give a job. But other than that, this video is going to be kind of a recap of January and how that month went. So before I get into the recap, let's go ahead and assign this money. So this $250, this is money from my Capital One new account bank bonus. I think in my last video, I mentioned that I should be getting it in the next month or so. It actually, the day after I made that video, I woke up to it in my account. So I have transferred it to my income account, and now I need to give it a job. Normally, this would go 100% to my goal, whatever my goal is. Right now, my goal is paying off my car this year, hopefully in the next 6 months. But I do need to use some of this money for some things. So I've been talking about not needing gas for a while. I just hit the 50 to 60 mile left in my tank mark. And so I am going to fund my gas, $50 for gas. I don't think it'll take $50, but I'll put 50 in there. I actually don't know how large the tank is on this new vehicle. So we'll put $50 in and see how that goes. And then next week is when my dog's food is scheduled. Normally, I like to purchase it a few days before it's scheduled just to make sure that I have it here before I actually do run out. I think it's scheduled for the 13th, which is next Thursday. I get paid next Wednesday. And so that's going to be cutting it really close, and I want to be able to fund this now. So I'm going to put in, so I'm going to change this. 65 doesn't cut it anymore. I'm going to put this at 100. 100 I think is more than enough. So I'll probably have extra, but I want to fund 100 so that I have more than enough, and that money is there. So those are the two things that I wanted to fund from this. The remainder, the remaining $100, now that money is going to go into my extra car payment. So now I've given all my money that's left a job. I just want to point out, I love this age of money being like 26 days. If you recall, when I first started this YouTube channel back in November, I was over the moon when it said 7 days. And then when it jumped up to 9, I was like, ooh, I'm moving. Now it's 26. I really attribute that to YNAB. Monarch money had its place in my life. YNAB money is doing its part to propel me forward towards not living paycheck to paycheck. Now, a lot of this is the money that I'm setting aside for my car payments. So I would imagine this is going to fluctuate pretty heavily when I make those payments and make any large payments towards principal. But I don't think I've had this much money set aside towards savings goals in ever, actually. So with that, now I want to take the rest of this video to go over my January spending. All of my spending is closed out. All of my spending is input, whether manually or imported, and it's categorized for the most part. And I say for the most part because I've been holding on to these two for a while. As you can see, these are January transactions. Back in January, early January, my debit card was compromised. I don't know how. I had only had that card for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and I think I might have used it one place at the gas station, but I did tap to pay, maybe Walmart. Actually, no, not Walmart. I think it was just at the gas station. Anyways, somebody got my card number and they bought things on Walmart.com. Now, I've never purchased anything from Walmart.com. All of the things I've ever purchased in my life have been physically in a store. This transaction was Walmart.com for $85. So fortunately, because I have the budgeting systems that I have, I saw this transaction almost immediately because it popped up on my notifications that I had a transaction that needed a category. When I logged in, I saw this transaction was not anything I did. And my bank, which is usually pretty good about getting me the credit that day or the next day, I actually got this credit the next day. So I haven't categorized these. They're still doing their investigation to figure out if it truly is fraud or not. So I've been hanging on to these. They're netting to zero, right? There's basically no gain or loss here. But the reason I'm holding them hostage here and not approving them is because if my bank deems that it is fraud, which I hope they will because I didn't do it, then I'm just going to delete these transactions because they're going to be basically offset and deleted from my bank transactions, so they have no place here. So other than these, which again net to zero, I have everything accounted for. All of these, I'm just waiting for. Actually, maybe I might be able to. So these are just transfers. Because I have so many accounts, I do a lot of transferring between them. And some of my transfers show up and link and match before the others. And so I think these are all fine. They're all transfers, which means they're not going to impact my budget at all. So yeah, I have everything accounted for. So let's go to, actually we'll just do the standard one. So my total spending for January 2025 was lower than I think most of my spending usually is. So I'm over here. I've got my Monarch pulled up. I still have access through the 17th, so I'm pulling it up to kind of see my. I just want to look at my. Yeah. Normally I'm at like 3,500, between 3,000 and 3,500. I am a little bit below that. I think a large part of this is because of my truck payment. My truck payment was almost $700. So this, that would put me at about 3,400. So um, I'm on par with where I normally am, minus that large car payment. So my income, or actually, I guess I should say the amount that I spent in January of 2024 was $4,365. So um, even at a normal 3,500, I'm still $1,000 under what I was January of last year. So I'm making huge progress towards, curbing my spending, putting my money towards things that matter. And I'm really happy with how it's turning out. My income, um, for January 2025, my total income was $5,342.72. This is my breakdown, the largest being my paychecks at 3,600, and then my tax refund, and then my plasma. This is my plasma donation, and then just some miscellaneous odd and incomes here. My income for January of 2024 was $6,142. The reason it's so much is because January in 2024 was a 3-paycheck month. So I have an additional paycheck included in that. December of 2024 was my 3-paycheck month. So it didn't quite roll into January because of the holidays. So my normal, income can fluctuate because of I'm just looking back. Yeah, I've got a lot of months where my expenses and income are like almost identical. I've got a few months where I'm at like 5,000, 6,000 income. So I think 5,300 is a pretty on par income amount, which makes my net income for the month of January just under $2,600 in the green. It helps not having a car payment. It also helps having extra income from account bonuses and a large tax refund, even though I'm not a fan of having a refund at all. But overall, my spending is on par and my income is pretty standard. Going back to my spending, as you can see, my largest category is rent. It's down from what it normally is because of the law that was just placed in Arizona where they're no longer allowed to charge or collect rental income or like rental tax or tax on rent, essentially. So other than that, yeah, rent is my largest, and then everything else is just really nominal. A couple $100 here. I love that I'm spending dining out. In the last year or so, I have really gone without dining out, and that's because I haven't really had the extra money and it's super expensive. The last couple months, I have really dedicated money going into my discretionary fund. And my discretionary fund is basically my whatever I want fund, right? And a large portion of that is sometimes I just don't feel like cooking. Sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. And sometimes I'm really craving some sort of food, right? Tonight, I'm craving Panda Express. So after I'm done, and actually I should clarify, I'm filming this Tuesday night. This video, you'll see this video on Wednesday. But tonight, I am probably going to go get some Panda Express and throw on some HBO Max and just chill out until bed. I am able to do that because I am diligent in putting my money into a discretionary account that I can just spend as I see fit. And then everything else is just my regular bills. I have my regular bills pretty limited to almost a bare minimum. So yeah, starting in February, my car payments will start rolling in. So you'll start seeing $250. I think it's like $248 and some change is my car payment. So we'll add that into the picture, but that is nowhere near $700 what I was used to paying. So even still, I'm saving money from what I was spending before. So I am absolutely happy with the path I'm on. I love that YNAB is taking me to the next level, right? Monarch Money took me to having extra money just in general. YNAB is really making me super intentional about where I'm putting those dollars and making sure that I'm not overextending myself by way of only allowing me to budget what I have available. I honestly wish that I knew YNAB was a thing a long, long time ago, because I probably would have utilized this budgeting app a long time ago. But here I am now using it, and definitely love what it's doing for me. So with that, I'm going to end this video. My next video will be next Wednesday when I get my regular paycheck. It'll be my first paycheck of February, and we will go from there. So I'll see you in the next video.